So we're running an Amoonguss, we're running an Arcanine, a Kangaskhan, a Vaporeon, a Corviknight, and a Haxorus. Now each of these Pokemon plays a very specific role. They all pull their weight, and if you pick your team correctly, then you can do pretty well against most every team that's out there. Now we've got ourselves Amoonguss here, who is an MVP of this team, and believe it or not, you can't actually Dynamax this guy. He doesn't mind to get Dynamaxed, but we've given him the Topa Berry so that we can reduce the super effective damage of those flying type attacks. Now that is really big. It may not seem like it at first, but I promise you there are more than enough Pokemon out there that if they hit you with super effective flying attack, it's not going to feel good. Cinderace can learn a Bounce, I believe, so it can use Max Airstream. You'll live that hit with the Chopa Berry, you won't without it. There's a couple other Pokemon out there that'll hit you. You really with this make it to where the only thing that's going to knock you out in one hit is a fire attack, and you can kind of mitigate for that. So we've invested 100% into his HP and his specialty over his physical defense. Now part of the reason that we did that is because we've got that Chopa Berry, so that we're gonna reduce the damage from flying type Pokemon. Most of the flyers out there right now are going to hit you physically instead of special, with the exception of Togekiss, I believe. So we've given ourselves some pretty decent defenses here, and we've got Regenerator as an ability. Regenerator says we heal a third of our health every time we switch out of battle. So if we live that first turn that he's out there, we get the Spore off, or we get the Rage Powder off. So we're running Clear Smog, Rage Powder, Spore, and Protect. The Clear Smog gives him, in the Dynamax form, the ability to give Vaporeon or Arcanine pluses to their special attack. With that, Max Poison is very good, and he's thick enough that he can live several hits, even in that form. But Rage Powder is a way for us to redirect. It's very helpful. It doesn't affect grass type Pokemon, which is big. That's something that you have to remember, because you're not going to redirect the Rillaboom. You're not going to redirect the spores coming off of another Amoonguss, or coming off of a Venusaur. You're still going to get hit by those things, so you have to be cognizant of that. But we've got Spore as well, so that we can put things to sleep. Some of those things we can't put to sleep. Again, grass type Pokemon don't care. And we've given ourselves Protect. Now you don't have to give yourself Protect. I've done it for Sustain on this guy. Sometimes they think you're going to switch out in a turn because they did a lot of damage to you the first time, and they'll try and pick a different move to mitigate whatever you're switching into that slot. Protect says I can wait a turn before I need to do that. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. Next we've got ourselves an Arcanine. Now I've given our Arcanine the Assault Vest because we've built ourselves a Battle Cleric Arcanine. That's pretty standard. People are running these all over the place, but ours is a little bit different. We have fully invested in HP. We've got more defense investment with a defense invested nature and special defense investment. So with the Assault Vest, it's percentage based boost off of your stat. So the more we have in that stat, the more of a boost it's going to get from that Assault Vest. So it's going to boost it by half, if I'm understanding correctly. So at level 100, his special defense is 330. That's not bad at all. You're gonna be able to tank one or two of those special attacks. His defense is high, and we've invested in that defense because we can live an Earthquake if we got an Intimidate proc on the Pokemon that's doing Earthquake on us. That moves us down to the ability. That Intimidate is really valuable, and our Arcanine is thick enough that he can be switched in. She can be switched in. That's extremely valuable. And Dynamaxing this Pokemon also isn't a bad idea, because she has the ability to give herself a special D boost with G-Max ground attack, with the max ground attack through Scorching Sands. But we run in Flamethrower, Snarl, Scorching Sands, and Extreme Speed. We're running Snarl because that special attack drop is huge. It's huge. It makes it to where our Arcanine can say, your team is weaker. Your team just hits me weaker. Arcanine's relatively quick. You're not going to outspeed everything, but you're probably going to live through whatever hit you so that the next turn it hits you less hard. We've given it Flamethrower because we like the accuracy on that. It has a chance to burn, but we don't really count on that. Scorching Sands also has a chance to burn. Extreme Speed is because you really want to have priority moves scattered about your team. If you can have one or two or three guys with a priority move, it'll benefit you. You'll find yourself many times on the competitive ladder, or any time that you're battling Pokemon, that your opponent has just a little bit more health. They got a little bit more health and you need to get rid of it. This is a really good way to do that. Not a lot of other Pokemon that are really big threats have priority moves they can use over and over again. It can be helpful to try and proc a quick attack in, or to tech a quick attack in there, here and there, or go for Sucker Punch or other things. But that brings us into our Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan is holding the Chopal Berry, so that whenever it gets hit by those fighting attacks, it doesn't die immediately. She wouldn't anyway. She's very thick. She's very capable of handling her own and taking hits, but you don't want to make her take more damage than she needs. And that's another form of sustain. This team is all about sustain. Stick around. And so we've got ourselves a little bit of an awkward investment here, but it's incredibly necessary to have her built this way. Because she has Scrappy, you want to be able to punish those ghost-type Pokemon, because you're getting a stab boosted fake out. We'll get there in a minute. All right, so we've invested primarily in its HP so that she can get a really deep hit point pool, and then we've invested evenly in the Special D and the defense. She takes more physical hits than she does special hits, but the point is to make it to where she can stick around just in general. And then we've invested in attack with an attack in invested nature, so that we're getting the most out of our Body Slam, our Fake Out, our Sucker Punch, and our Rock Slide. Now, recently I've been running into a problem with this team where I really want an electric attack. So you could probably switch the Rock Slide, in place of it put a Thunder Punch. I think that would be really good tech, and that's something that I've been toying with for a while. But Rock Slide is very good. Rock Slide is very good, and I like having it there for that flinch chance. But you're getting stab boosted Fake Out. That's huge. You're going to do more damage with that than you think you are, but you have to keep in mind that it's still not the most powerful attack. But we've given her Sucker Punch as well, because she's really good at switching in late game onto something that we don't have to worry about Dynamaxing. And say they're in the yellow. Between Fake Out and Sucker Punch, if that's an attacking Mon that they've got there, if that's their sweeper on the board, between those two moves, you say, you don't get to hit me this turn, and I'm going to kill you at the beginning of the next turn before you get the chance to hit me. That's very valuable. It's incredibly valuable. Between Body Slam and Rock Slide having chances to do extra, like Body Slam's chance to paralyze, which can be very helpful, and Rock Slam's ability to flinch, which is very helpful. It's just, she makes for a very good addition to this team, and it's a super hard sell on not bringing her. Like, she's just a good Pokemon. Then we've got our Vaporeon. Vaporeon's holding the leftovers. It's a super important item, especially on Vaporeon, because of how deep its health is. It's getting more back from the leftovers than most people would. It's all percentage based, but Vaporeon benefits so much from having all of that extra hit points because we've invested completely in its HP. We've invested more in the defensive end than we did in the special defensive end, but we've given it the special defense increased nature. Now this health pool is huge. It's huge. Vaporeon has a very large health. So just off of that alone, it has the capability of living big hits and sticking around for a while. So if we can do things like leftovers to sustain that a little bit more, it's incredible. But we've given it hydration because water teams are prevalent in this meta right now. We don't really have a way to set up our own rain unless we Dynamax with our Vaporeon. But most of the teams out there right now are. A fair amount of them, anyway. How many times have you run into Politoed and Kingdra? They're everywhere. And that's not the only rain team. People were running rain teams before that. Pelipper was around for a long time. So you're going to get those hydration procs. It's just not something to count on. It's something that's extra. That Politoed sets the rain and goes for a Hypnosis in that first turn. Tries to put your Vaporeon to sleep so that they can focus down on the other slot. They're going to get one turn. At the end of the turn, if it's raining, you're going you're going to be woke up. The Vaporeon's incredibly valuable, but Hydro Pump, Blizzard, Acid Armor, and Yawn is the set that we've given it. And we've given it Acid Armor so that we have the ability to make ourselves thicker to take those physical attacks. Yawn so that we can put our opponent to sleep. If we can switch Vaporeon in at the beginning of their Dynamax, or when they've just started their Dynamax, then we can get that Yawn off and they'll miss out on that last Dynamax turn. It's a good lead. It would be nice to Spore and get them on that first turn instead of giving them the extra turn because of how Yawn works. But it's really all right. Yawn is valuable. Between Hydro Pump and Blizzard, Vaporeon does more than enough damage. You can't count on it to be a sweeper. That's not what Vaporeon is. But you're gonna be able to click those buttons multiple times because of how thick it is. We've PP maxed both Hydro Pump and Blizzard to make sure that Vaporeon can do as much as it can. Do those as many times as it can, because both of them have a chance to miss, and you really don't want to miss. It feels bad. It feels bad when you're in a pickle and you need to hit and then you miss your attack. And it'd feel even worse if you'd been in that spot for several turns and you run out of the only attacking moves you have. It's not good. So PP Max, very important. There are a couple different places in game that you can buy them. You need battle points for them, but I highly suggest investing in them. It's not something you want to forget about during your team building. Now, we've got a Corviknight here with the weakness policy, and it is incredible. It is incredible how powerful this thing becomes with the longevity that it possesses. It's just crazy. So we've got a max HP investment, a large special defense investment, and some defense investment. We have access to the ability Mirror Armor, so that we bounce the stat drops back to our opponent. That intimidates a thing that's running all over the place. So say you lead Kangaskhan and Corviknight, which is an excellent lead. They work very well together. You've just given yourself the ability to tell Intimidated didn't do anything. Not only did it not do anything, it bounced back on the person who intimidated, and a lot of Intimidators right now deal super effective damage to a Corviknight. Fire. There's an electric Intimidator out there. It's very, very good. We've more invested in our special defense because we don't want to be eating flamethrowers. We don't want to be eating thunders. You're more likely to see those. We don't want to be eating eruptions, heat waves, things of that nature. They can become a real problem. With the HP and the special defense investment that we have, Corviknight lives hits. Corviknight lives hits, and it lives them comfortably. And if you play it correctly, then you can pull yourself through to find your advantage. And we've given it Brave Bird, Iron Head, Tailwind, and Roost as the move set. Now we've given it Brave Bird and Iron Head because they're both stab boosted. Iron Head has the ability to flinch, and Brave Bird just does a lot of damage. Tailwind is for speed control. This team isn't the fastest team, but some of the primary members aren't necessarily terribly slow. So we can all benefit from a Tailwind, especially since you're going to Dynamax the Corviknight a lot of the time. And that's really fine. You're going to get to boost your defense. Most of our guys don't have more defense investment than they do special defense investment. So those defense boosts can be very helpful. And Brave Bird doing so much damage stat boosted is just very important. And since we've built ourselves with the ability to live through our stats, and we've given ourselves the weakness policy, that means that our attack stat is going to be doubled after we take one of those super effective hits. So what you do with this Pokemon is you coax in certain attacks. You can switch this in to take certain attacks. We've got a Vaporeon on the field. We've got a pretty good feeling they're going to go for an electric attack on that Vaporeon. We'll switch into our Corviknight and see how it takes it. Because it'll probably take it pretty well. And you want to click Roost. We've PP maxed our Roost. It's incredibly necessary. Because you're sustained. I believe it heals you for half of your health. I believe it heals you for half of your max health. That's incredible. And you lose your flying typing. Whenever you click Roost. So they're coming in for an electric attack on the second turn that's going to kill you. Not if you've roosted. If you happen to be able to roost in the beginning of that, then they don't get to deal the super effective damage off of that thunder attack or that thunderbolt or whatever they used that was electric. Now it's just going to deal neutral damage because you're steel type. It can be very helpful. Mind you, you're going to get hit by earthquake at that point. You lose your flying typing, so you're no longer immune to earthquake, so you have to be paying attention to that, especially since we've got ourselves a Haxorus on the team, and our Haxorus knows earthquake. But our Haxorus is holding the Life Orb. Life Orb increases the amount of damage you do by, I believe, it's 30%. That's probably too high. But it's still very beneficial, and Haxorus needs that extra bit of damage. Now, Haxorus has, I believe it's a 147 attack stat, 142, 147, somewhere in there. It's humongous. So this is our only sweeper. Now that doesn't mean that this is our only dude that can sweep the battlefield. It's not our only guy that can put the damage in. That just means that this is the only individual that's built 252, 252. And we've maxed that speed out with a jolly nature so that he outspeeds everything that he's supposed to. Mimikyu has a 96 base speed. Haxorus has a 97 base speed. So in every situation now, because I'm max invested with a max invested speed nature, I'm always going to outspeed Mimikyu. And because we have Mold Breaker, it means that when I use a steel attack like Iron Tail, I'm going to kill Mimikyu. It's just going to die. You get to do something very similar with Mold Breaker and Earthquake to things like Levitate users. There's a massive list of things that Mold Breaker applies to. I highly encourage looking into it. It's a very good list. But the moveset that we've given him is Dragon Claw, Iron Tail, Earthquake, and First Impression. Now we went with Dragon Claw because it's the most accurate dragon move that's not going to confuse me at the same time on the physical side. It's very good. It's not the greatest of moves. We could give him something like Outrage, but that means we're going to lock ourselves into something. We're going to lock ourselves into that. That's not great. What if they switch into a Fairy-type Pokemon whenever you click that button, and now your Haxorus can't do anything? I don't like locking myself into stuff. It's one of the reasons that I don't use the choice items. There's nothing wrong with them, and on the right Pokemon, they can be very good. I believe that the choice specs belong on Gengar. He likes those very well. But Iron Tail, so that we have a steel type coverage to cover down on the fairy types who hit us super effectively. We've got Earthquake to cover down on spread damage on this guy with that massive attack stat, and First Impression. First Impression is a priority bug move. It is incredible on Haxorus. I don't know exactly when he got access to it, but it's done nothing but help. It's done nothing but help since he got it. So he definitely deserves to have it. You'll enjoy having it on there. There are many other movesets that could work very well on Haxorus, but I think that this works best because when he's Dynamaxed, he gets access to the Max Dragon attack, which lowers your opponent's attack stat. He gets access to Max Bug attack, which lowers your opponent's special attack stat. And Iron Tail and Earthquake both become attacks that raise your defense and your special defense respectively. Like it's an excellent Pokemon, especially when Dynamaxed. And he's got the health pool to live a few hits. Not a whole bunch, and definitely not some powerful ones, but like you can lean on Haxorus. But we're going to hop into some battles on the competitive ladder. So I hope you guys enjoy yourselves. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. It won't be on the next video. There will be no need. You could just come back here and listen to anything you want explained again. But if you hear me talking to somebody and you don't understand who it is, I'm doing this all on stream, so there's chat and I'm talking to those individuals. But other than that, I hope you enjoy the video, folks. Please drop a like, subscribe if you'd like, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Alright, let's see what they decided to bring against us. Our opponent with their crown, Kingdra and Talonflame. Alright, I see you. Alright, so we are going to fake out the Talonflame right away. And I think we Dynamax, Max Airstream into the Talonflame. I think that might give us the damage we need to just get rid of him. Because we definitely don't want to take any physical flying attacks on this Corviknight. Now that does unfortunately mean that we need to ignore the Kingdra slot for a moment, which can be detrimental. It can be very detrimental.
We'll see what our opponent decides to do at the beginning of their turn. Withdrew the Talonflame. That's smart. For the Politoed, yep. It's going to go straight into setting up that rain. Make that Kingdra super quick. So my assumption will be that he has Dynamaxed that Kingdra. He would have been faster if he had went for a flying type move. He wouldn't have been faster with a fire move, which is what we were concerned about. So he could have clicked Tailwind and got it off in the beginning of the turn, but he wouldn't have been able to click Flare Blitz or something of that manner and hit us with that immediately. But the fake out, switch out straight into the Politoed is very smart. Corviknight, dummy thick. Here's the Max Wormwind to lower our attack. It's not going to work. It'll work on the Kangaskhan, but we'll make him physically weaker when he tries to do it to our Corviknight. Not that it matters. Kingdra's a special attacker. And that's the Life Orb tick that we wanted to see. Decent damage on the Politoed. I don't believe that it has any way to heal itself, so that damage is good damage. Any damage that sticks around is a plus. I do believe that we will be switching out our Kangaskhan for Vaporeon. So we want Kangaskhan to be able to come back later. We want to reset our fake out. 100%. Vaporeon super thick, so if he just went for the same attack, it won't do as much. Like it's not, they were not super effective either way. So this is probably going into Corviknight. I don't know why he would have helping hand into somebody he thought he was going to take out. Yeah, that's into the Corviknight. That's big damage. That's big damage. Would have liked to see a KO there, but not the end of the world that we didn't get it. You know, we are going to yawn that Kingdra. We're going to max guard on our Corviknight. Searching for a little bit of longevity here is both of our last turns of Dynamax. So if he swings into the Corviknight, we know it's a wasted hit. Politoed protects as well, that's fine with us. Gone for the second Max Geyser into our Corviknight. Excellent. Blocked hit just like we wanted, so we get a free yawn. It's good. He'll get one more attack, but he's provoked right now to switch that thing out. We will not be switching out our Corviknight. But we already know of one physical attacker that he has in the back. So we could benefit from an Acid Armor right now. Big brain play here would be to Hydro Pump the Kingdra slot, predicting the read into the Talonflame. I don't know that he would switch into the Talonflame, so I'm assuming that there's another dude in the back that we're not aware of. So I think a Blizzard in this situation might be more effective. But I think we're gonna Acid Armor. We're gonna delay dealing damage. We're gonna Acid Armor and we're gonna Roost. Yep. Was it the Talonflame? It was the Talonflame. All right. So big brain plays would have been to go for. It would have been to go for the Hydro Pump into that slot. That's okay. We're fine to have not. This just means that. Vaporeon is a little thicker. Scald, fishing for a burn. And he got it. Lucky. Alright. So, we're going to Blizzard. Because I don't expect Talonflame to stick around. Roost again. Just because I think that's the right answer. See, there goes the Talonflame. We should have predicted that switch. Yeah, that first turn that we knew the Kingdra was going to swap out, we should have predicted that switch and hit that slot with the Hydro Pump. That would have been humongous damage. And the Kingdra avoids, of course it does. Get a little bit of extra chip damage out on that Politoed. Alright, so the Politoad's going to Perish Song. And we don't necessarily give much of a care about that. One thing that might say is that he doesn't want us to stack up defense boosts on our Vaporeon. That could be likely. But that could also mean that he doesn't think he can kill our Corviknight. We're going to Yawn again into the Kingdra slot. And we're going to drop a Tailwind. Yeah, Protect is smart, Chief. Double Protect. Now we'll assume that he's going to switch his Pokemon out very shortly. I'm going to predict that Talonflame switch in again. And I'm going to Hydro Pump that Kingdra slot this time. Well, let's see what happens. I mean, he has to know that we're going to switch him out. And there goes the Kingdra into Talonflame again. Alright, hopefully we don't miss the Hydro Pump this time. There goes his Politoed. For an Urshifu. Alright, so we'll be faking out that Urshifu, I would say, most likely. And it looks like it's the Dark-type Urshifu because he's not all moving around. We did nail our Hydro Pump. Big damage. Deleted. It's little plays like that that put you ahead in the game, and that's all we need. We just need several little plays like that to make sure we stay ahead in the game. We'll be switching our Vaporeon out so that we can get our not our Talonflame, but our Corviknight back onto the battlefield. There's that Kingdra. No, we're not going to run. Wrong button. Let's get that Corviknight back out here. And we'll actually, I think we want to fake out the Urshifu. We'll let the Kingdra get a swing out, but that Urshifu is a pain in the ass. Any kind of extra damage we get out into him is good. Detect. Very nice. A good call. And the Kingdra used Protect. Alright, so he is a stall-based team. We are quite alright with that. We're going to Brave Bird that Urshifu slot. And we're going to switch Vaporeon back in for Kangaskhan, reset that fake out. Our opponent looks like they know what they're doing when it comes to the switch game, so we just have to play that better than they do. If they want to play a game of singles and a game of doubles, then we can do that. I'm okay with it. We're going to fight for every inch we get on this ladder. Big Brave Bird energy. Come on, critical hit. Not even close. Decent damage. We're okay with it. We're not even mad. There's the Wicked Blow into the Vaporeon slot. Very nice. And the Muddy Water. We take that. Now we really need a critical hit on that Urshifu. There goes my Tailwind. Yeah. You know what? I think we try and Roost. We're not faster than they are, so they get damage off first. I think we just go with the Brave Bird. and we'll hit up a blizzard. There's the close combat. Yeah, that's quite alright. Drop them defenses. And there's a Draco Meteor. It's going to drop his attack. Is it enough for the KO? It could be. This is powerful. Unfortunate. Alright, so we're looking at Haxorus now to 1v3. I mean, pretty much we're looking to Haxorus now to 1v3 this whole fight. That's okay. We're going to fake out that Kingdra because we don't want that Kingdra to hit our Haxorus. But he still has Politoed, so he could very well swap the Urshifu out for Politoed. I wouldn't be surprised to see that at all. The Urshifu's defenses are dropped, and we would really like to get rid of that. I just don't know. I don't know. We'll fake out the Kingdra. Yep, there's the protect. You going for a detect? Nope, no detect. He went to put somebody down. First impression goes off. Is this enough for the KO? It is. Excellent. Alright, so we still are in the same troublesome position to where that Kingdra is going to get to attack us when the rain is up because Politoed's coming back. Now the Politoed will probably go for a helping hand into the Kingdra. We need Haxorus to live the hit. We absolutely need Haxorus to live the hit. There's the helping hand, just like we thought. So he's still at -1. Helping hand only boosts you by a stage. Decent damage. There's the Draco Meteor. 100% going into Haxorus. Do we live the hit? Not even close. Not even close. Now, there's next to no way we win this fight, so that everyone's on the same page. There were probably a few things we could have done differently. I think that if we swung into the Kingdra slot with the Vaporeon the first time he switched it out for the Talonflame, I think that would have been huge. I think that would have been incredibly helpful because we did kill it in one hit. There are a few things in there that I think we could have done better, but you can't win all of them. So we will move swiftly forward into the next battle. Alright, what do you got, Chief? What are you gonna do? Inteleon and Incineroar. That was good news for us. Alright, so we've been in this situation once before, and it was incredibly beneficial. Now we want that Incineroar to hit us with a Flare Blitz. And it looks like the board state that we're on right now, he can do that if he doesn't go for a Fake Out. So we need to switch out our Kangaskhan for our RK9. I know that sounds a little weird, there's an Inteleon on the field, but I need y'all to trust me. And then we're going to Dynamax into the Max Airstream into that Inteleon straight away. Now he could very well be going for a Fake Out, and that's just fine. He just straight withdrew it. That's unfortunate. For NDE. Get that Psychic Surge on the field. He was trying to stop... Well, hello, CF. Welcome back. He's trying to stop our fake out there. Oh, and we're dressed super similarly. Oh, you're going down now, copycat. There's the big Inteleon, just like we expected. Not a Gigantamax Inteleon, though. That tells us that this Inteleon is made to set the rain, but it didn't look like anything else on his team really cared if the rain was set. There's the Max Geyser into... Did he read it? Nope, he didn't read it. Into the Corviknight slot. We take those. Alright, and this will boost our speed. I think we still need one more to be faster than the Corviknight. Or not the Corviknight. We still need one more to be faster than that Inteleon. But our Arcanine might already be faster than that Inteleon. And if that's the case, then we can get a Snarl out, and that would be incredibly beneficial. But it's likely that he's shifted that water attack to go into Arcanine instead of swinging again. So we're gonna switch him out for the Amoonguss so that the Amoonguss can take that water hit. He'll take it much better, and we'll Airstream again into the Inteleon. There's a helping hand. Alright, so one... Oh, he predicted the switch. Went for the max Airstream. Very interesting. That's big brain lead, or switch right there. He called the hell out of that. That's alright. We got Regenerator in that slot. Alright, and he can only take one more. But we don't go into Arcanine. That wouldn't be smart. Because I could see him predicting that switch. Airstream again. He'd probably max guard on his Inteleon. That way I don't get an extra Airstream up. But, I don't know. Little bit of risky business. Another max Airstream. Yeah, he was going to delete that slot. That's quite alright. Now that Expanding Force Indeedee is going to hit us real quickly. That's quite alright. Alright, we'll have to switch Kangaskhan back out because Kangaskhan doesn't want to get hit again. We want to reset that fake out. But we can't switch into our Amoonguss because Expanding Force is a Psychic type attack and he will just get decimated by that. So we're really going to be looking to Corviknight to win us this fight. There's the Magnezone. That's quite alright. We can predict the... Yeah, I'd say we can predict the electric attack into that slot and roost on the Corviknight right now. We want to be at full health when we get hit by one of those. Because we definitely don't want to go down because we didn't think we were just big enough. Indeedee faster than Corviknight, but Corviknight should be faster than, yeah, there we go. And now when we roost, we lose our flying typing until the end of the turn. So if he hits us with an electric attack, it won't do the damage that he wanted it to. There's that Thunderbolt. Yeah, see, much less damage. Now between that, doing double damage and an expanding force, I think at full health, we're fine. I think we try and get, yeah, we need to get some snarls out right now. Because the rain's up, we're not going to be able to do much on the fire attacking into that magna zone. So we just kind of have to play for turns right now. We have a slight advantage right now because we're the only person in this fight that isn't down a Pokemon. Most of our dudes do have a lot of damage on them, but we're the only ones right now that aren't down Pokemon. That was a crit on the Corviknight, that's funny. Now we are PP maxed on our roosts for this specific situation, so we can buy ourselves more turns. The Snarl is also going to help mitigate the damage coming out of these expanding forces off of this Indeedee, which is really just giving him incentive to switch it out so he can switch it back in and reset the terrain. But we have to deal with that right now. I do believe that I want to go for another one. I think that is the right answer right now. And we'll set up a Tailwind. Now, if we don't miss, the minus on this special attack stat on that Magna Zone is going to be big. Alright. Now we're going to take a lot of damage from this Thunderbolt. There's no doubt about it. But we're getting him to proc our weakness policy. He went into the Arcanine. Interesting. He's like, I don't want to get hit by those fire attacks. Alright, then we'll hit you with one of those fire attacks. Since you don't want to respect my Corviknight. Let's try and get a flinch on this Indeedee. Good damage. Critical hit. Very nice. Big flamethrower energy. Deleted. We would have really liked to get a weakness policy proc, but I don't think I saw one, and there's the flinch. I don't think I saw the opportunity to get one without us dying in the process of getting it. It was better to not have it than to have lost the Corviknight altogether. Alright, and so it's just his Incineroar and this Indeedee. He cannot reset the Psychic terrain. He's not going to get to Intimidate spam anymore, and he's already one weaker, so we want to switch our Arcanine off the battlefield for Kangaskhan. Super dangerous because Kangaskhan's at low health already, but necessary. Now we could potentially get our weakness policy proc now off of this Incineroar, but he's at -1 attack. That's very helpful. It means he's not going to do as much. We're still going to take a freaking crap ton of damage off this guy. There's the helping hand. Yep, so he's at normal damage. He went for a fake out. Wow. That's the wrong answer, Chief. Should have faked out the Corviknight. So we're going to fake out your Indeedee. And we're going to Iron Head. We want to chip him down a little bit before we do damage to ourselves and let him do damage to us. There's the fake out to put down the Indeedee. Big Iron Head energy. Maybe we get our flinch. Yeah, there's the flinch. And our Tailwind peters out. Now, we're faster than this dude with anybody that's relevant right now. Let's hit them rock slides up. Actually, we're going to switch into Arcanine to get another attack drop on him. And we'll Brave Bird. Super risky move. super risky move. We don't know exactly how much he could crit us. We know that from a Flare Blitz he does a lot of damage. He's not used it yet, which is kind of odd. Big Brave Bird energy. Now, this is just our regular damage. It's not our plus with our stuff procced. The U-turn, maybe he doesn't have Flare Blitz, or maybe he just really doesn't want to proc Flare Blitz. Alright, that's fine too. Scorching Sands. Yep, we're going to try and finish it right now. Battle was canceled. Alright, we take those wins. GG to our opponent. Change your clothes. You don't get to look like me.